Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Welcome back to our Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. We took a week off last week.
Yeah.
That means the last time that we sat and talked about the news, Bob, we were eating sandwiches in the Salt Lake City airport,
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
which feels like longer than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a whole lot's happened since. It feels like a year ago.
Yeah, or maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe not a year.
Anyways, nice to be back in the studio.
Yep.
Nice to be back for me. I was gone for too long.
Right.
Almost 2 weeks.
No, it's nice to be where you live.
Good to be back.
Yeah.
I live here for a reason. And before we get into this week's news, just quick touch on Ski Happy. Congratulations to our top 3 Ski Happy photos. I'll put them all up here so you can see all 3. We did a little bit different, or did things a little bit differently to end the season. We didn't do the 10 runner-up prizes like we normally do. We just gave away 3 pairs of skis.
And that makes the top 3 people very happy.
They were all super happy.
Yep.
Yeah. We did just wrap up the voting on Instagram last night. So we do have an overall winner, which happens to be this one. And that entry will be taking home a pair of 2023 QST 106 skis.
Sounds good.
Future.
Nothing better than free skis.
Especially when they're from the future.
Right. I had to ask you what year it was today.
That happens all the time. I feel like you ask me what year it is once a week.
Well, I mean, pretty soon we'll be moving into 2024.
Yeah, for equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few months away from looking at 2024 stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mind-blowing. And with that, I think we can get straight into the news. Kind of a lot of like ski resort news this week.
Yeah, I think with like competition season over and
Yep.
most ski areas closed, this is kind of where we go from here.
Our esteemed colleague Matt pointed out that ski industry news is often slow at the end of April.
Yeah, but like it's ski industry news.
Absolutely.
So there it is.
This is full-on industry news. So first topic of the week, the Colorado Sun. Great publication. We kind of quote their articles quite a lot. So kudos to the Colorado Sun for putting out a lot of great stuff. They have a report on the thriving indie ski resort scene in Colorado right now.
Not indie pass ski areas.
Should absolutely.
Independent ski.
Thank you for the
independently owned and operated.
Indie as in INDIE.
Yeah.
Not INDY. So yeah, independently owned ski resorts are doing really well in Colorado.
I mean, they, like we talked about, like they have the numbers to back it up, like the skier visit numbers to back it up.
Skier volume.
Right.
Yep. So pretty cool, and they kind of highlighted a few different mountains. Really, this kind of uptick for independently owned ski resorts has been over the past couple of years, 3 years here. Monarch Mountain is up 50% in pass sales since the 2019-2020 ski season. It's pretty darn good.
Pretty cool area too.
Absolutely. Yep. Sunlight Mountain ski area or ski resort, they saw a 21% increase in revenue year over year.
Great.
It's awesome. And then A Basin is perhaps the most interesting kind of singular entity in this whole story. They severed ties with Vail Resorts a few years ago. Skier visits are down 40% from 2019 levels when they were still associated with Vail, which was always a very unique partnership.
Yep.
They weren't just purchased by Vail Resorts. They actually had a partnership, which I don't think anywhere else has accomplished. So skier visits are down 40%, but they're projecting this past season to be their best season ever for revenue.
How do they do that?
Well, what a picture. I mean, they used to have to pay, they contributed a portion of, I don't know. There was some kickback to Vail Resorts,
Right.
and I don't know, I can't recall exactly how that worked, but that's pretty cool.
Right.
And maybe that's, maybe that's a vision or an example of how things can work for other ski areas, a little blueprint for success for other resorts.
Yeah, and I think we use the term like balance and equilibrium a lot with,
Yeah.
these resorts and the industry kind of finding a happy medium between being too crowded and still making money. I mean, you can't just not let people ski at your ski areas, or else you're not going to make any money and you're not going to have a ski area. But then at the other end, there's overselling and extending over capacity, and then that's reducing the overall experience too. So it's going to find a balance.
And, I think this is an interesting example, particularly because, like, for a lot of areas, you can't just, like, reduce your skier traffic by 40%.
Right.
Like, what are you going to do? How are you even going to accomplish that?
Right.
Like, that's a big, like, with A Basin, they just took away the Epic Pass. And then if you didn't have an Epic Pass, you couldn't ski A Basin.
Right. And they capped sales as well, which on face value looks like a way to lose money. But they did it.
Right. So kudos to A Basin. Really cool article. Check that out if you want to learn more about these independently owned ski resorts. And then second topic, another ski resort heavy topic. We talked about this a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. New York State has approved over $90 million for state-owned resort upgrades. The exact figure is $91.7 million. Just a few kind of highlights out of this story. Whiteface is going to get $16.5 million for a new year-round lift. Bel Air is going to get $9 million in lift maintenance and upgrades, which I believe includes the construction of one entirely new lift. $8.7 million for lift upgrades at Gore. And then this is maybe the biggest chunk, North Creek Ski Bowl, which we had to look up and turns out is right next to Gore.
Yep.
They're going to get $19.7 million on a new 4-season lodge and $7.25 million on a treetop trolley ride.
I'm very interested in the treetop trolley ride.
Yeah. Like, is this just a slower mountain coaster thing?
I don't know.
Because I was just in Copper for USASA Nationals, and they have, like, a really cool... I think there was a little like advertisement on the lift bar that said like this is the longest alpine coaster in North America. Is a treetop trolley just a really slow? Not that would be bad. I would thoroughly enjoy that. Just kind of like cruise around the treetops on a trolley.
And like I picture treetop.
Me too.
Not like a mountain coaster, which is like a little bit off the ground.
Right, yeah.
Like I want like upper canopy stuff.
That's what I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning just this quaint little trolley just kind of meandering along the treetops. I'm all here for it.
Yeah. No, I'm interested.
We're going to have to take a trip. The other kind of side of this story is a lot of people are feeling like it's giving these state-owned ski resorts kind of an unfair advantage, particularly because this is funded from New York State taxpayer dollars.
I can see how they'd feel that kind of way, but like they got to look at New York State and the New York State ski industry as like a team.
Right.
Like the more people that come in and spend tax dollars, the better it's going to be for the industry as a whole.
And an asset to the state in general.
Yeah. Like if you were one of these independently owned and operated ski areas and you're not getting that tax money, I can see you'd kind of feel like you're getting the shaft. But like overall, I think for the health of the sport and the state, it's probably going to be beneficial.
Just boost the entire industry, and there'll be some trickle-down effect to the other resorts.
I think that's the hope.
That's a fair assessment, Bob.
All right.
And then third topic of the week, I didn't even write any notes for this one.
Yeah, we don't need notes for this one.
It's a blank piece of paper for this one. Stowe Mountain Resort will be implementing a paid parking program next season, Friday through Sunday.
Yep.
Bob, your thoughts?
I think we kind of all knew this was coming.
Yeah, not really surprising.
Not really surprising. We like out of the thousands of like they just got lit up on social media.
It was their most successful social media post ever. If you want to count it off, if you want to base that off comments and engagement, which is generally how people rank their social media posts.
Right.
So. People are pretty fired up about it.
Yeah, and 100% negative. I would say out of
99,
90, I would go more than that.
99.5. I've read like a handful of positive comments.
Okay, but I think that out of all the things, so they didn't mention specifics like how much it's going to cost, how it's going to work. I think one of the main points, the biggest takeaways, was that they were missing the point that it's not going to reduce traffic to the mountain.
Yes.
Like the idea is that you're carpooling more, you're using public transit, so you're reducing the overall amount of cars, but you're not reducing the amount of people.
No.
And how much are you reducing that auto traffic, and how much is the processing going to slow down of getting people into the parking lot?
Exactly.
That's going to reduce that traffic down the hill. So
just judging by the clientele at Stowe from Friday to Sunday, and I don't mean this in a positive or negative way, they are not going to care that they have to pay a little bit extra for parking.
right.
So I don't know. Like, what would your estimate be? I would say it's maybe going to reduce the traffic to the mountain from Friday to Sunday by 10%, and that might even be generous.
I mean, based on the comments, if the 2,000 people that commented said they weren't skiing at Stowe anymore and going to Smugs or Jay or Bolton, do that, then that's going to be a bigger reduction than
Yeah,
the amount. But they're not.
they're not. People say those things, and
Yeah.
they're going to be right back at Stowe next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the carpool thing. So 4 people per car.
Yeah,
for
so there's a
free
few ways
parking.
around it.
Yep. And if I had to guess based on reaction, I would say that would be the first thing that they would reduce on, 4 to 3 or 4 to 2.
Yep.
And free parking after 2 every day.
Yep.
So that's the other thing.
Those are the kind of the 2 ways around it.
Right. So I think that the main target on this one is the weekend local skiers, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the people that go up, especially early morning by themselves, ski for an hour or 2, and then leave.
That's where the biggest issue is,
Yeah.
the biggest pinch point, if you will.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah, which, kind of describes you.
Right.
It's at times, sort of describes me at times. It's certainly going to affect our, ski essentials operations on a Friday morning.
Yep.
The other ways that you can circumnavigate the paid parking on a Friday through Sunday is parking at 2 satellite lots. And we were chatting before we started filming. Those lots aren't very big. So what happens if those fill up before the paid parking lot fills up?
Yeah.
Does paid parking all of a sudden become overflow parking? And then, like you brought up, would the people who paid earlier in the morning get pissed that people were just getting, overflowed to that lot
Right.
and not paying?
Yeah.
There's certainly some unanswered questions.
And then the other thing was they were telling people that they could park in town and take the trolley, but
There's nowhere to park in town.
there's nowhere to park in town.
Yeah.
You can't just park on Main Street for the day and leave your car and go skiing and
No,
take
I mean,
up a
it's
parking
what? It's
spot.
technically 3-hour parking limits.
yeah,
for,
I'm not sure.
for most spaces in town.
Yeah.
I don't know how actively they tow, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that. And if I was a business owner on Mountain Road, I wouldn't want those spots taken up by people just going to the mountain.
Right. Just going to leave their car there all day.
Right.
So,
Pretty interesting.
yep.
Let us know in the comments what you think. Kind of to piggyback off this, Park City just announced today or maybe yesterday, but more recently than the Stowe announcement, Park City will be implementing paid parking next year as well.
Okay.
So-
They got a lot of, based on their traffic going in, they got a very similar problem, but maybe on a much larger scale than
Well,
what
and
we have
I
here.
saw very, very similar opinions and comments to
Yeah.
the feedback from Stowe's announcement.
And I think the other two things that rubbed people the wrong way was it was the day after the mountain closed.
Right.
So really weird timing. And then right after they had sold people on,
Epic
advertised the lowest
Yeah,
Epic Pass
buy
prices
your
of the
Epic Pass
season.
by today to get your 10 buddy passes, and then the next day it's like, hey, also you have to park.
Right.
So
See how it goes. Like we said, we're just going to start picking people up on the side of the road and
yeah,
bringing them up. Mountain employees won't need to take the bus anymore.
and I mean I've heard the same side of it from other people as well, particularly people that drive pickup trucks without rear seats.
Yep.
Is I drive a Volkswagen Golf, and in the winter generally my rear seats are folded down. Even if they weren't, I can't really fit 4 adults with their ski equipment.
Right.
So is that just kind of excluding me because of my vehicle choice?
It is. And and like I can fit that many people in my truck pretty easily.
Yeah, you got 3 little daughters.
Right. But like, again, if I wanted, like, what if I brought 6 people up and you brought 2 and the 2 of us combined for 8? Do we each get free parking?
Right.
I think there's just going to be a lot of those really like specific questions.
Like, could I have you on the phone with me as I pull in and the parking attendant stops me and I'm like, no, just talk to Bob for a second. Yeah. He will confirm that he had 6 total people and that I get 2 of those people.
Yeah. To make 8 between 2 cars. There's a lot of hypotheticals going on with this whole situation.
Yeah. So who knows? My expectation is that it'll be a little bit of a learning experience. There will be some adjustment, mostly for local people. And I expect that by the time we get to late January, early February, people will have adapted and we will all kind of have forgotten that it used to be different.
Yeah, time does have a funny way of doing those things.
Of healing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, Monday through Thursday, fair game,
problem.
park anywhere.
Go ski. Go park wherever you want.
So like
that's actually not true. They'll tell you where to park.
Yeah, but for the locals that do that midweek stuff, like that's who we see up there most mornings. So
and that's 80% of your midweek days.
Right.
So
we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Anyways, 4th topic of the week. We can go through this one really quickly because we just talked about parking in Stowe for I have no idea how long, but maybe 10 minutes. Who knows?
Go all day.
Find out when we edit this thing. SkiRacing.com, another great publication. We kind of use or highlight their articles quite a bit. They have an article covering Luke Winters and kind of his recent success on the World Cup circuit, as well as his slower than usual rise to success. Got into the sport a little bit later than some. Pretty cool story.
Did they talk about his fantastic ski name?
I don't recall if that was mentioned or not, and if they missed that, then it's a big miss.
He buried the lead.
But just a kind of a little tidbit of information. He was the most successful U.S. men's slalom skier since 2016.
I mean, like, that doesn't seem like that long ago, but like 6 years ago.
It was a while ago now. So go check out that article if you want to read more about Luke Winters, and definitely looking forward to what he does next year.
Yep.
And then we have our edits of the week. First up, we have Adventure on Otis Lane from Shane McFalls. Shane McFalls, if you know that name, he helped start the Line Traveling Circus series. He was always the videographer and editor in at least the first few seasons. I can't remember exactly how many seasons Shane was on board, but go check that out. It's kind of classic Shane McFalls editing style. And then we have The Black Crows, episode 16. Mustafa, I'm going to say Salin.
I support that.
Thanks, Bob. You're usually better at those things than me. Bob and I, we just were like glued to the screen watching it. Extremely well done. His family immigrated to Switzerland, I believe.
From Turkey?
From Turkey. They didn't really have any skiing background. So, really cool story. I particularly like the part about begging his mom to go skiing, just crying and crying and crying and asking for money to go skiing, because that really reminded me of myself as a kid.
I like how he quit soccer and just started skiing.
Also reminded me of myself. And then we have some GoPro drone footage of Ted Ligety just ripping a giant slalom course. My biggest reaction to that video was, give me a stick and some skis, and I'll put the GoPro on the end of the stick, and I'd like to see if I can get better footage than that drone.
He was going pretty fast.
I still think I could do just as good of a job. Maybe I'm too high on my own GoPro filming skills. And then last edit of the week, Matt McGinnis, our esteemed colleague, referred to this as the skiing robot dog thing. I don't know if that's how he titled it in the final published version of Top 5 Fridays, but it's a Boston Dynamics robot carrying some skis and actually skiing.
Who doesn't want to watch that?
I would guess the majority of our audience, but check it out. Even if you just check it out for like 10 seconds. It is it's not long, but there's only so much the skiing robot dog thing can do, and then it gets a little repetitive.
I forget if it was Japan or South Korea, but they have like robotic ski races. And they build,
I remember
they
seeing
build
that.
the skiing robot.
Yeah.
And it actually like,
Yeah.
I forget if it goes through gates, but it definitely
It
has to complete
turn, yeah.
a course of some kind.
Yeah.
And pretty cool.
Yeah. So check that out. And that's it for Top 5 Fridays. Head up to the mountain tomorrow, do some skiing.
Cool. There's still a bunch of snow up there.
Ton of snow up there. We
Yep.
just got like 15 inches on the top the other day.
Yeah.
So
Highest snow stake of the season right
after
now,
the mountain closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. 66 inches.
which isn't like great for snow stake on an average year, but
No, but go figure.
yeah, go figure. End
Have
of
the-
April.
The most snow after the mountains closed.
Yep, and you would have no idea based on where we
Down
are
here
right
in
now
town, right? There's no snow in
Yeah.
town. 66 inches up there on the top of that mountain.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a real alpine environment here in New
Sure
England,
is.
which people forget about that sometime. So that's it for edits of the week and for Top 5 Fridays. We will see you guys next week. We've got a Ranger 96 review going up next week at some point. Let us know if you have any questions that you want us to address specifically, and then we'll be back again for Top 5 Fridays. So we'll talk to you then.
Bye.